These symbols of the goddess out here. Picture. Lantern in uniform. Should have been with a super family. Used to.
Bridget, pagan goddess or Christian saint. Long ago, when religion was simply the way people lived their lives, goddess religions were a natural evolution of living close to the earth, in tune with nature's rhythms, in harmony with the natural environment, in awe of nature's wrath, and in gratitude for her favors. Fertility and survival were the most urgent preoccupations, and the goddess would be invoked and appealed to for these purposes. Christianity was another evolution along the way, incorporating pagan religions, sometimes brutally stamping them out as heresies, at other times absorbing them in painless takeovers like those that occurred in Ireland after St. Patrick arrived in 432 CE, as indigenous beliefs were incorporated into Christian theology. The case of Bridget is one of these examples. Pope Gregory the Great decreed that Christian missionaries were to change beliefs with as little dislocation of popular practice as possible. This proved wise because, for the most part, people hold on to cultic practices, which are more lasting than beliefs. Over time, the missionaries were able to Christianize the pagan modes of worship. Today, we bring you a story of transition, how one well-loved pagan goddess was transformed into a well-respected Christian saint and later stripped of that hallowed classification. This happened as early church leaders adapted and adopted the local pagan practices into Christian ways. This was less disruptive and more likely to succeed than forcing the natives to lose their former allegiances and conform. Vestiges of pagan influences are still found in Ireland, like holy wells, pools of fresh water in round openings found in uncultivated fields, and cloudies, shreds of cloth tied to branches near a holy well. Since we have no one today who can speak for the pre-Christian inhabitants of Ireland in the days of the Druids, Furballs, and Fomorians, I will ask our guests to introduce themselves. Goddess Bridget, would you like to start us off?
I've been called Bridget, or Brida, or Brige. I am a triune goddess, meaning I have three aspects: maiden, mother, and crone. As maiden, I'm inspiration and poetry. As mother, I'm midwife and healer. And as crone, I tend the hearth fires, smithies, blacksmiths, and crafts. Some of my symbols are the lighted brazier, representing my fire aspect, a pitcher and a chalice for water and healing, and a Bridget's cross for fertility and the earth. I did not bring my sacred cow. A shining mirror to the other world is one of my talismans. Because of my kinship with smithcraft, I'm a warrior goddess, and I wield a spear and an arrow, which I also did not bring today. Imbolc on February 2nd is my sacred day, when the fires are fueled with special rowan wood. If the fire pleases me, the family might find my mark in the shape of a goose or a swan's footprint on the hearth in the morning. They might also be blessed with exceptional fertility in their lambs, their crops, or even their children.
Saint Bridget, patroness of Ireland. You also have an association with Imbolc.
Yes, folk culture preserved the links between me and my pagan forerunner. Imbolc folk traditions highlight these affinities. Straw and grain from the harvest are central to my celebrations. Until modern times on Imbolc, St. Bridget's Day, a small quantity of specially preserved seed grain was mingled with the first crop to be sown. The stalks of the grain were blessed with holy water, then hung up in houses or set in the thatch roofs of cottages. A sheaf of oats, a cake of bread, or a dish of porridge was placed on the doorstep on the night of St. Bridget's Day as an offering to me. Other cakes were placed outside the window to provision a hungry traveler. When I was a saint, Christian doctrine limited me to the patroness of dairy workers and patroness of Ireland in conjunction with St. Patrick. One of the many legends about my tenure at the convent I founded in Pfleiderer is that my cattle produced enough milk to fill a lake. One churning could fill several baskets with butter. Let me read from the Lives of the Saints, the official Catholic doctrine published in the 1950s. I am known as the Mary of the Gale, born in County Louth about 450. I showed signs of sanctity from my youth. I asked God to take away my beauty in order to escape marriage and pursue my religious vocation. When I received the veil, my beauty, which had given way to deformity, returned. I founded the first convent in Ireland and presided over it for many years. I established communities in other parts of Ireland, and by my prayers and miracles, exercised a potent influence over the growth of the church. I was generous and joyful, vehement and energetic, and desired to aid the poor and needy and relieve those in distress. I died in 523 and was buried in the same graveyard as St. Patrick in Downpatrick.
I see. You said when you were a saint.
Well, yes.
You are very beautiful, by the way.
Thank you for noticing, my child.
Okay.
After I helped St. Patrick convert Ireland to Christianity, some determined that I was no longer necessary. There was even an argument that I had never existed. Can you imagine? I was decanonized in the 1960s after Vatican II, which simply means my name was expunged from the official list of saints. But my veneration continues, and Irish Catholics swear by me and refuse to give up my legacy.
I'm not surprised that the Vatican would do that. When they took over my stories, I was popular. well-loved goddess among the people. Many Irish Catholics still venerate her, us, me, them as a saint. They even relighted my sacred flame at Kildare, not once, but twice.
So, you don't claim any existence of your own.
Good heavens, I've had so many doubters. My association with the grain plant and the seed must predate the Celts' conversion to Christianity. Many customs connecting me to the agrarian tillage and sowing at Imbolc reflect my link to the Celtic goddess from whom I got my name. Look at the similarities in the stories that are told about the two of us.
It's said that I was born at sunrise and that when I was born, a tower of flame reaching from the earth to heaven burst from my forehead.
For my part, when I traveled to the nunnery to take the veil, a pillar of fire rose from my head to the roof of the church, prompting the bishop to call me forward to be the first to take the veil. Not only that, but he ordained me as a bishop, which did get him in trouble, though he claimed it was given to me not by him, but by God. And since I was ordained as a bishop, I could appoint other bishops, and all those I appointed were goldsmiths.
As goddess of smithies and crafts, I had goldsmiths under my care. And there is the matter of the sacred flame at Kildare, tended by 19 virgin priestesses called the Daughters of the Flame, each for 1 year of the calendar. In the 20th year, no one tended the flame, but it continued to burn.
At my convent in Kildare, I tended the fire with 19 other girls. When I died, each surviving nun took care of the fire, one each for 19 days. And on the 20th day, the fire was left untended, yet it continued to burn.
And we are both associated with childbirth. I was said to attend every birth, and you are associated with the birth of Christ.
That's one of the stranger stories about me, since I was a contemporary of St. Patrick, who baptized my father and mother. I also founded the convent in the 3rd century, and my birth date wasn't until 490.
That's very curious. Well, thank you for your insights today. As this story shows, many of us today find ourselves incorporating pagan roots into our understanding of human progress. Bringing the essence of earth-centered spirituality into religious practice can have a positive impact on our planetary and spiritual health.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Okay, the saint will be available for questions after the service.